the haunted diner. In the small, sleepy town of Crestwood, there was a diner known as the Silver Spoon. It was a charming, retro establishment with a reputation for serving the best pies and coffee in town. The diner had been a local favorite for decades, a place where townsfolk gathered for their morning coffee and evening meals. However, behind its welcoming facade lay a chilling history. Years ago, the Silver Spoon was the scene of a grisly murder. The owner, a man named Harold Reynolds, had been found dead in the kitchen, brutally killed by an unknown assailant. Despite an extensive investigation, the case went cold, and the diner was eventually reopened under new management. The new owners, eager to distance themselves from the diner's dark past, made every effort to maintain its reputation as a cozy, inviting place. But rumors of hauntings began to surface. Employees and patrons alike reported unsettling occurrences, flickering lights, inexplicable cold spots, and eerie whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. Some claimed to have seen a shadowy figure moving through the diner, always just out of sight. One evening, a group of friends, Sarah, Mark, and Jenna, decided to test the rumors for themselves. Intrigued by the tales of hauntings and drawn by their own curiosity, they planned a visit to the Silver Spoon after hours, determined to uncover the truth behind the ghostly reports. As they arrived at the diner, they found it locked and dark, but a familiar key hidden in a discreet location allowed them entry. Inside, the diner seemed frozen in time. The booths and tables, covered in a layer of dust, were eerily quiet. The group set up their cameras and recording equipment, ready to capture any paranormal activity. As the night wore on, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The friends experienced strange phenomena, sudden drops in temperature, strange noises, and the feeling of being watched. At first, they dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidences or tricks of the mind, but the events soon grew more unsettling. Sarah, Mark, and Jenna began to hear whispers in the dark, voices that seemed to come from behind them, always just out of reach. The whispers grew louder, forming fragmented sentences that spoke of anger, betrayal, and a desperate plea for justice. The group's excitement turned to fear as they realized that the whispers seemed to be directed at them, as if the spirits were trying to communicate. At the center of the diner, they found an old, dusty photograph of Harold Reynolds, the murdered owner. The picture, framed and hung crookedly on the wall, seemed to watch them with a gaze full of sorrow and rage. The friends couldn't shake the feeling that the eyes in the photograph were following their every move. As the night deepened, the disturbances escalated. Objects began to move on their own, chairs scraped across the floor, utensils clattered in the kitchen, and the diner's neon sign flickered erratically. The friends' attempts to document the activity were met with technical failures, cameras malfunctioned, and audio recordings captured only static. In a moment of sheer terror, the group found themselves surrounded by a cold, suffocating darkness. The whispers grew into a cacophony of anguished voices, and the temperature dropped to a bone-chilling cold. The once familiar diner now felt like a labyrinth of shadows and despair. The friends, overwhelmed by fear, desperately tried to escape. In their panic, Sarah stumbled upon a hidden room in the back of the diner, where she discovered a journal belonging to Harold Reynolds. The journal detailed his growing fear of a malevolent presence that he believed was targeting him. The final entries revealed that Harold had been trying to uncover the truth about the sinister forces within the diner, but his investigation had cost him his life. As the friends read the journal, they understood the true nature of the hauntings. The spirits in the diner were not just restless, they were seeking revenge for Harold's murder. The journal hinted at the presence of an evil entity that had been responsible for the violence and despair in the diner. With their nerves frayed and their fear palpable, Sarah, Mark, and Jenna fled the diner. They managed to escape just as the hauntings reached their peak, with the diner's walls seeming to close in on them and the whispers growing into anguished screams. The Silver Spoon remained abandoned, its dark history a warning to those who might dare to uncover its secrets. The friends never spoke of their experience again, but the diner's reputation as a haunted location only grew, drawing the curious and the brave who were willing to face the malevolent forces within. The story of the Silver Spoon became a chilling legend in Crestwood, a reminder of the darkness that can linger behind even the most innocent-seeming facades, and the ghosts that linger in the places where evil once dwelled. Drive-through nightmare. In the bustling city of Eastwood, the new fast food restaurant, Midnight Munchies, quickly became a local favorite. With its retro charm, neon lights, and 24-hour drive-through, It seemed like the perfect spot for late-night cravings. The restaurant's popularity soared, but so did the disturbing rumors that surrounded it. The tale spoke of strange occurrences and unsettling incidents reported by those who used the drive-thru after dark. There were stories of eerie voices on the intercom, bizarre and unsettling orders, and inexplicable happenings. Despite the rumors, most dismissed them as urban legends until one fateful night. Lena, a young journalist known for her love of investigating local myths, decided to spend a night at Midnight Munchies to uncover the truth behind the eerie stories. She had heard whispers of a chilling event that occurred there, a dark secret buried beneath the restaurant's surface. Armed with a camera and a notepad, Lena planned to document her findings. She arrived at the diner just before midnight, her curiosity piqued. The drive-thru was quiet, save for the occasional hum of the neon lights and the distant sound of the city. Lena placed her order through the intercom, which crackled and groaned in an unsettling way. The voice that responded was distorted, its tone menacing and filled with an otherworldly echo. As Lena waited in line, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. The restaurant seemed strangely empty, with only a few cars in the parking lot. Her anxiety heightened when she noticed that the menu displayed on the drive-thru screen flickered erratically, showing images of grotesque and unappetizing food items. When it was finally her turn at the window, Lena was greeted by a young employee with a vacant stare and a mechanical smile. The employee handed over her order, a bag of food, and a strange, handwritten note tucked inside. The note read, "Welcome to your nightmare. Enjoy your meal." Lena's curiosity outweighed her unease, and she drove to a nearby park to examine the contents of the bag. Inside, she found a regular fast food meal, but with one disturbing addition: a single photograph of an unfamiliar face, its eyes wide and hollow, as if pleading for help. Lena's heart raced as she realized that the face in the photograph resembled the missing person she had been investigating, a young woman who had disappeared from Eastwood years earlier. Determined to find answers, Lena returned to the drive-thru, hoping to speak to someone who might shed light on the photograph. However, as she approached the window again, the restaurant seemed to be closed, its lights dimmed and the intercom silent. She drove around to the back, where she saw a dim light flickering inside. As she approached, Lena noticed that the restaurant's back door was slightly ajar. Driven by a mixture of fear and determination, she entered the building. The interior was eerily quiet, the only sound the faint hum of the refrigerator units. The atmosphere was suffused with an oppressive chill, and Lena felt an unsettling presence lurking just out of sight. Exploring the darkened kitchen and storage areas, Lena stumbled upon a hidden door leading to a basement. The basement was cluttered with old equipment and storage bins, but it also held a series of disturbing artifacts: tattered uniforms, old photographs of missing persons, and a collection of journals filled with cryptic, disturbing entries. The journals spoke of sinister experiments and twisted rituals carried out by the restaurant's previous owner, who had vanished without a trace. Lena's heart pounded as she pieced together the horrifying truth. Midnight Munchies was not just a restaurant, but a cover for a series of dark rituals involving the disappearance of individuals. The twisted experiments had continued even after the original owner's disappearance, and the restaurant had become a nexus of malevolent forces seeking to claim new victims. Suddenly, the basement lights flickered and the temperature plummeted. Lena heard footsteps echoing around her, and a chilling voice whispered from the shadows, "You should have stayed away." Panic surged through her as she realized that the malevolent entity that had haunted the restaurant was now closing in on her. In a frantic attempt to escape, Lena dashed back through the restaurant, but the building seemed to shift and change, its layout becoming an impossible maze. The oppressive presence grew stronger, and Lena could feel the sinister force trying to drag her into its dark embrace. Just as she reached the exit, the front door slammed shut, and the windows became opaque, trapping her inside. Lena's screams were swallowed by the oppressive silence as the shadows closed in. The drive-thru intercom crackled to life one last time, playing a chilling, distorted message: "Welcome to your final meal." The next morning, Midnight Munchies reopened as usual, its facade unchanged and welcoming, but Lena was nowhere to be found. The only clue to her disappearance was a single photograph, similar to the one she had received, now found on the diner's front counter. The photograph showed Lena's terrified face, her eyes wide with fear. The legend of Midnight Munchies grew, becoming a cautionary tale for the curious and the brave. The diner's reputation as a place of nightmares persisted, a dark reminder of the horrors that lurk behind seemingly ordinary facades. The drive-thru, once a symbol of convenience, now stood as a gateway to a chilling nightmare, a place where the malevolent forces of the past continued to haunt those who dared to enter. A Burger of Doom. In the heart of the bustling city of Ravenwood stood a seemingly ordinary fast food joint known as Burger Haven with its vibrant neon sign and cheerful decor. The restaurant attracted locals and tourists alike. Famous for its mouth-watering burgers and friendly staff, it was a favorite spot for a quick, satisfying meal. One rainy evening, a mysterious new item appeared on the menu. The Burger of Doom. The burger was touted as a daring new creation, a blend of exotic ingredients and secret spices that promised an unforgettable culinary experience. The restaurant's manager, George, promoted it with an air of excitement and intrigue, claiming that only the bravest diners should attempt it. Curiosity piqued. A young food critic named Alex decided to sample the Burger of Doom. Known for his fearless approach to food and his penchant for seeking out unusual dining experiences, Alex saw this as an opportunity to write a thrilling review that would captivate his audience. He arrived at Burger Haven just before closing time, eager to taste the mysterious burger. Alex placed his order and waited in anticipation. As he sat at a booth, the restaurant's atmosphere grew increasingly tense. The lights flickered intermittently and an inexplicable chill filled the air. The staff, normally cheerful and lively, seemed unusually subdued, their faces a mix of anxiety and dread. When the Burger of Doom arrived, it looked deceptively ordinary. The bun was perfectly toasted, the patty well cooked, and the toppings fresh. But there was something unsettling about the burger, a dark, almost imperceptible aura that seemed to emanate from it. Alex took his first bite, and a wave of intense flavor washed over him. It was unlike anything he had ever tasted, an exhilarating, almost addictive combination of spices and herbs. But with each bite, he felt an unsettling sense of foreboding. The flavors grew more intense, almost overpowering, and he began to feel a strange sense of euphoria mixed with unease. As Alex continued to eat, he started experiencing bizarre sensations. The walls of the restaurant seemed to close in, the lights flickering more erratically. The temperature in the room dropped, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. His heart raced as he noticed the other diners around him. No one seemed to be moving, their faces frozen in expressions of shock and horror. Realizing that something was terribly wrong, Alex tried to stand up, but his limbs felt heavy and unresponsive. The burger's taste turned increasingly bitter, and a wave of nausea overcame him. He looked around in panic, noticing that the once normal restaurant had transformed into a nightmarish landscape. The walls appeared to be closing in, and shadowy figures seemed to emerge from the corners of his vision. The staff, now revealing their true forms, were ghastly and distorted, their eyes hollow and their movements jerky and unnatural. They chanted in low, guttural voices, their words a mix of incantations and curses. Alex realized with growing horror that the Burger of Doom was not just a culinary creation, but a vessel for something far more sinister. Desperate to escape, Alex tried to make his way to the door, but the restaurant's layout had become a twisted maze, its corridors shifting and warping. The air was thick with a malevolent presence, and Alex could hear disembodied whispers and haunting laughter echoing through the space. As he stumbled through the maze, Alex came across a hidden room filled with ancient, occult symbols and dark artifacts. In the center of the room was a ritualistic altar with remnants of the Burger of Doom, its patty, now resembling a dark, pulsing mass. The realization dawned on him that the burger was a sacrificial offering, a means to summon and bind dark entities. In a final desperate act, Alex grabbed a nearby fire extinguisher and smashed it against the altar, causing an explosion of sparks and light. The restaurant seemed to convulse violently, the walls shaking and the shadows retreating. The other diners and staff were briefly freed from their trance-like states, their expressions a mix of confusion and fear. With the restaurant's malevolent influence waning, Alex managed to escape into the night. He ran through the rain-soaked streets, his heart still pounding with terror. Behind him, Burger Haven stood silent and still, its neon sign flickering weakly before going dark. The next day, the restaurant was found closed and abandoned, its once vibrant exterior now weathered and decrepit. The Burger of Doom was never served again, and the legend of Burger Haven's dark secret spread through the city like wildfire. Alex's experience became a chilling cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers lurking behind seemingly innocuous facades. The story of the Burger of Doom served as a grim warning to those who sought thrills without considering the consequences. The restaurant remained a ghostly reminder of the malevolent forces that can hide behind even the most ordinary of places waiting to claim their next unsuspecting victim. The late-night delivery. In the quiet town of Greenfield, the 24/7 fast food restaurant Midnight Eats was a local favorite. Known for its prompt service and late-night deliveries, it was a lifeline for insomniacs and night owls. But behind its cheerful facade lurked a dark secret that would only be revealed one fateful night. Emma, a newcomer to town, ordered a late-night meal from Midnight Eats on her first night alone in her new house, a charming but old home with a history of strange occurrences. As she waited for her food, a delivery driver named James arrived, handing her a bag with a peculiar, handwritten note inside that read, "Welcome to your new home. Enjoy the real feast." Emma was unsettled but shrugged it off as a prank. However, as the night went on, she began to hear unsettling noises and feel an oppressive coldness in the house. The sounds of footsteps echoed through the empty rooms, and she noticed her breath misting in the chill. The air seemed to grow thicker with dread. When Emma checked the bag, she found the food tasted strange, bitter, and metallic. A closer look revealed that the food had been tampered with, part of a dark ritual to summon malevolent spirits. Her phone died, and she found herself trapped inside, unable to leave. Desperate, Emma discovered an old journal in the basement detailing occult rituals performed by previous owners. The journal revealed that the house was a conduit for dark forces, and that the meal was part of a sacrificial ritual. As Emma read the journal, a shadowy figure appeared, its presence suffocating and cold. She recalled the ritual reversal described in the journal and performed it, despite her fear. The house shook violently as the shadow screeched in agony, its form dissipating. With the spirit banished, Emma escaped into the night. Midnight Eats continued its operations, but the story of Emma's terrifying experience spread through town. The once friendly restaurant was now associated with a sinister legend, and the abandoned house stood as a haunting reminder of the dark forces lurking behind seemingly ordinary facades. Emma never returned to the house, and Midnight Eats became known as a place where the night held more than just late-night cravings, it held nightmares waiting to be uncovered. It's the midnight shift. In the small town of Havenbrook, the local convenience store, All Night Mart was a lifeline for those working late or needing supplies in the dead of night. The store was run by Frank, a seasoned night shift worker who had seen it all. But when a new employee named Jess started working the midnight shift, she was unprepared for the unsettling events that would unfold. Jess, a college student looking for extra cash, took the night shift at All Night Mart, which was known for its quiet but eerie atmosphere. The store was located on the edge of town, surrounded by dense woods that were rumored to be haunted. The previous night shift workers had left in a hurry, leaving behind whispers of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena. On her first night alone, Jess settled into her shift, finding solace in the monotony of stocking shelves and organizing the store. However, as the clock struck midnight, the store's atmosphere changed. The lights flickered, and the air grew heavy with an inexplicable chill. At first, Jess dismissed the odd sensations as nerves. She tried to focus on her tasks, but the store seemed to come alive with unsettling noises. Shelves rattled, and the sound of shuffling footsteps echoed through the aisles, though Jess was certain she was alone. As the night progressed, the disturbances grew more intense. Jess noticed that some of the store's security cameras were malfunctioning, displaying static and strange, ghostly figures. The intercom system crackled with distorted voices, whispering unintelligible messages that sent shivers down her spine. Determined to find the source of the disturbances, Jess ventured into the store's back room, where she found old records and dusty files. Among them, she discovered a journal belonging to a previous night shift worker. The journal detailed a series of horrifying events, mysterious disappearances, ghostly apparitions, and an old unsolved murder that had occurred in the store years ago. The journal revealed that the store had been built on the site of a long-abandoned asylum, and the restless spirits of the patients had been haunting the area ever since. The previous workers had left because the spirits were growing more aggressive, seeking retribution for the atrocities committed in the asylum. As Jess read the journal, the store's lights flickered more violently and the temperature dropped further. She felt a cold breath on the back of her neck and turned to see a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. The figure was tall and indistinct, its presence filled with malice. Panicking, Jess tried to call for help, but her phone was dead. The store's exit seemed to close off, trapping her inside. The shadowy figure advanced, its form becoming more defined and menacing. Jess could hear its ghostly whispers and feel its chilling grip. In a frantic attempt to escape, Jess remembered the journal's instructions for a protective ritual involving salt and an old locket found in the store's safe. She raced to the safe, retrieving the locket and spreading salt around the perimeter of the store. As she completed the ritual, the shadowy figure let out a haunting scream, and the store seemed to convulse. The lights went out completely, and Jess was plunged into darkness. She could hear the spirit's anguished cries and the sound of the old asylum's doors slamming shut. When the lights flickered back on, the shadowy figure had vanished, and the store was eerily quiet. Jess, shaken but relieved, left the store as dawn approached. She reported the night's events to the authorities, but they found no evidence of the disturbances. Frank, the store's manager, was sympathetic but seemed resigned to the store's dark history. He explained that the spirits would sometimes be pacified but never truly gone, and the store's haunting would continue as long as it remained on the asylum's grounds. Jess never returned to All Night Mart, and the story of the midnight shift became a chilling local legend. The convenience store, once a symbol of late-night convenience, was now a reminder of the restless spirits that haunted Havenbrook. The midnight shift, once a mundane job, had become a night of terror and survival, a testament to the dark forces that lurk in the shadows of the past.